the new segment we started last episode, we're going to do it again. Things that annoy Jake more than they should.
Okay, let's hear it.
Grown men who roller skate at the roller rink alone.
Oh, so this is like icks, kind of.
Yeah, basically. But I'm 37, so like I can't use that word.
Yeah.
But yes, essentially, yeah. For people your age, it's an ick. But yeah, grown men who roller skate at the roller rink alone. No kids, no wife, no date, just alone. You know, put my dad hat on for a second. It's not safe. And honestly, like 8 wheels indoors and alone feels like the most uncool way to skate. So that's
picturing it now in my head.
Yeah, imagine what they look like. That's what they look like. You
see it.
You nail it. So, all right. Any comments on it? You got any feedback on that?
No, that's 100% correct.
Welcome everyone to Real Talk with my homies. I'm your host, Jake Wardrip, licensed real estate agent with Homepage Realty in Louisville, Kentucky. Today, elephant in the room. This is not our normal setup. So we're checking out some different things, arrangements. I'm unsure which one's going to be official, but we are kind of checking some stuff out. One obvious change if we use this space is how far these tables are. We are very far apart. So bear with us on some of the changes of the setup, but we're going to experiment with some things to see what works. So today I am very excited to say I'm joined by the most successful athlete we've ever had on the show, Nick Albiero. He is actually a Homepage agent with me, but mainly what we're going to talk about today is Nick is a 2-time NCAA champion. He is a 28-time All-American and an Olympian. Nick has earned 31 medals, with 13 of them being gold. Nick became the first ACC swimmer ever to win an event 5 times. We're going to talk about that later. Nick competed for Team Brazil in the 2024 Olympics and swam for the University of Louisville as of most recently. So how are we, man?
Yes, I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you coming on.
For having me, yeah.
So we ask every guest this. Everyone who's ever come on the podcast, we ask them the same question. How long can you hold your breath underwater?
Oh. I mean, we don't like actually go underwater and like time it. I would say like, yeah, we do some like 50s underwater in practice, which that's already like 30 seconds, but like you're also moving. Like I've never actually just like started my timer and like gone underwater and done nothing.
How long do you think you could?
I don't know. I mean, as I've gotten older, my lungs, I've definitely noticed, have gotten bigger. So I don't know. I don't want to say something like stupid, but at least a couple of minutes, I think. Yeah. If I like train for it, yeah.
So 5-time winner. I'm assuming that's COVID.
Yes.
You had an extra COVID year, or is swimming different than other collegiate athletics?
Exactly right. We had an extra year, so I ended up being able to swim the conference meet, ACCs, my junior year. Like 5 years ago, almost to the day, we were found out the NCAA's was canceled. And NCAA's happens in March, end of March, from the men's team.
Yeah, see, everybody, I remember it because of the NCAA basketball tournament, which I think, it's more mainstream from a, from a national standpoint. But yeah, I didn't realize that swimming also was impacted by it.
Yeah, so we actually got to compete in our conference before NCAA. So I did swim my junior year conference, so I was able to, I think it was 3 for 3 at that time. And then my senior year also was the COVID year, which I won that as well. And then the extra year I was able to go 5 in a row, which is crazy. And
it's almost never going to happen again. What was it in?
It was in the 200 butterfly.
Okay. Is that your best? Safe to say that's your best one?
Yes.
28 All-Americans. How is that even possible?
So in swimming, you can swim at 3 individual races and 4 relays at the NCAA championships. So if you're top 8 in all of those races, you're 7 times All-American. And so I think out of those, I had 12 or 15 or something individual, but because my relays were also successful in the country, we were able to count that as well. So that's why it's 28.
That makes sense.
Crazy.
We'll dive way deeper into the, no pun intended, that was on accident. We were talking about that on the phone.
Oh, no.
So we'll get into it later. But the new segment we started last episode, we're gonna do it again. Things that annoy Jake more than they should.
Okay, let's hear it.
Grown men who roller skate at the roller rink alone.
Oh, so this is like icks, kind of.
Yeah, basically. But I'm 37, so I can't use that word.
Yeah.
But yes, essentially, yeah. For people your age, it's an ick. But yeah, grown men who roller skate at the roller rink alone, no kids, no wife, no date, just alone.
I have a couple of them.
So, and this is not me, hating on people that like to roller skate, but like we had a school party last night for my daughter at Skaterama. It was like a class thing where all the money went to the school, which is great. So she went, had a good time.
Yeah.
But there was a couple dads that were skating, and that's fine. They're skating with their daughter. Cool. No worries, no issues. But it reminded me of how much I don't like people that do it by themselves.
Oh, like if they're alone?
Yeah, very alone. They show up. Again, not hating on skating, but they're just, people that fly around the roller rink, there's 90% of the people out there are kids. Like, they don't even know how to skate. They got the little PVC helpers out, but, put my dad hat on for a second. It's not safe. And honestly, like, 8 wheels indoors and alone feels like the most uncool way to skate. So
I'm just picturing it now in my head.
Yeah, imagine what they look like. That's what they look like. You
see it.
You nail it. So, all right. Any comments on that? You got any feedback on that?
No, that's 100% correct. I have a couple too. I have like, if I see somebody like chasing a ping pong ball, like to me, it gives me an ick. Like if we're playing like ping pong or like.
So what I do? Just grab a ping pong.
No, like if you're like
one in my pocket.
If you're like running around the room like trying to catch a ball, like to me, it's like it gives me the ick. Also, like people who show up to the airport with like signs and like flowers and stuff, like, and they're just standing and you're like walking there with your luggage. That gives me a really
what if it's somebody that's just playing a prank on their wife's, like, welcome back from rehab, welcome back from prison, like, is that okay?
Yes, I've seen people do that online. That's hilarious. But if I'm the one that's coming out and I see someone with like a sign that says my name, like, are you a chauffeur? Like that gives me.
All right, Mom and Dad, if you're listening to this, Nick would love a sign next time you come home.
I don't know.
Nick would like flowers and a sign.
If you're standing outside of your car just waiting and watching me roll my luggage in, that makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, Mom, Dad, Nick would like a sign next time you pick him up from the airport, please. A big one.
No.
All right, Cardinal Movers. At Cardinal Moving, a local moving company since 2014 with over 3,000 Google reviews, they specialize in making your move as smooth and stress-free as possible. Their team of clean-cut and professional movers are dedicated to handling your belongings with the utmost care and efficiency. Visit their website, cardinalmoving.com, or give them a call at 502-599-2661 to get a free quote and tell them we sent you. All right, you're a swimmer.
I am.
When did you first realize, like, I'm pretty good at this?
Oh gosh. Growing up, my parents put me and my siblings in like all the sports. Obviously, we started swimming because both of my parents are swim coaches, and so we were around the pool deck all the time waiting for them, or like while they're finishing up coaching, like we're just running around the pool deck. And
aren't you not supposed to run around the pool?
If one of us, no,
supposed to walk,
well, we were, and if one of us falls in, like they needed to know, like, hey, he'll be fine. He can swim to the wall and get out.
Yeah.
We did a lot of different sports. I played like baseball, basketball for my church growing up. And I always felt at home in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to a certain point where, okay, you have to choose one sport to like move forward with your life in, especially if you want to like go to college for a sport. And I think around 12, when I turned 12, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Maybe I'm pretty good at this.
I'm way better at everybody else.
Yeah, but then you turn 13 and then you're racing people who are 13 and up. So then it's like, wait, actually, I'm not very good. But then by the time you get to like 16, 17, 18, you build your way back up. And then I think I was a top 10 recruit out of high school. And then that's when I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. But at the time, my times weren't super competitive in the NCAA. So once I got to the NCAA, or once I got to college, I started like doing lifting and all this stuff, and then that's when it kind of took off. So
you went to Cal?
Went to Christian Academy.
Yeah, so Christian Academy. I mean, they got to have a pretty good weight program, right?
Yeah, I was not.
I mean, it's not saying extra Trinity football, but
yeah.
Cal's a great school.
Yes, we didn't really lift. A lot of the swimmers who would represent Christian Academy were also club swimmers. So like we were all training together on my club team, Cardinal Aquatics, and then we would represent Christian Academy at like state or regionals or whatever the meet was.
To kind of piggyback off of what you were saying earlier with your mom and dad being swim coaches, we found out, I guess just the other day, they own a swimming school
Yeah.
where they teach kids how to swim. And I know they do a lot more than that, but for me, it was applicable because our daughter actually went there
Yeah.
and she learned to swim there. That was very cool.
That's so cool.
And we live in Mount Washington, so it's not like we're right around the corner from there, but we heard that was the place to go if you wanted to teach your kids how to safely swim, at an affordable price.
Yes.
At the time, we didn't have a pool at our house. We do now, but at the time, we didn't have a pool. But swim safety is kind of important.
It's so important, especially like right around this time because we're about to hit the summer.
Yeah, we need
You
to
want kids to be safe in the country clubs and
we got to get somebody. I need somebody that will come to my house and teach our son how to swim because I don't want to drag him somewhere on a Saturday morning and 30 minutes to go somewhere, then an hour there, and then 30 minutes back home, and then you got to get him all changed out and all that.
Yes,
the whole
a lot more
song and dance. Yeah, I need to find somebody that will. You want to come to my house? You want to teach my son how to swim?
Honestly, I would because my mom has the swim school, and then its partner, the sister school, is like swim labs. So it's called Safe Splash and Swim Labs. I actually work for swim labs. I do like one-on-one individual with club swimmers and triathletes, like focusing more on technique with video review. And my mom's whole passion in her life is preventing children from drowning. And like that's her passion. So she like married the two schools together, and like that's been her business. And I'm so grateful that I get to even like work for her. But it's so cool that you're
fantastic school. This is not because you're on, like, it really genuinely was a fantastic school. I don't know if I ever met your mom specifically, but all the instructors were awesome. Like it felt like just such a safe environment.
That's so good to hear. Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Like I said, genuinely mean that. That's not just because you're here. If it wasn't 40 minutes from our house, we'd be taking our son there as well.
But hey, out for a certain price, I'll be there.
That's true. Everybody does have a price. So what's it like growing up, what kind of pressure is on you maybe internally? I'm sure there's always the external pressure of mom and dad wanting to coach you up and make sure that you're the best that you can be. What's the internal pressure like having two very successful parents in the swimming world?
For those people that don't know, my dad is a head coach at University of Louisville.
Yeah.
And my mom is the head coach and owner of my club team, Cardinal Aquatics, that I swam for. So we are a swim family. My older brother swam on both of those teams. He swam.
Who's better, you or him?
I don't know.
You are.
Yeah. But he had a great career. And then my sister swims as well. So she's been finishing up her last year, her 5th year actually, because her class still gets the COVID year.
Yep.
So she's finishing up.
Is she at U of L as well?
Yeah, next week she swims at NCAA is her last one. So growing up, I mean, we struggled, I think, a lot, especially me and my sister, just with like managing home life and like sport life, because the last thing you want to do after a practice is get in the car and talk about your practice. Yeah. Like go home and have dinner and talk about your practice or things that you're struggling with in the pool. And like it constantly was a topic. And I mean, honestly, I've ruined a couple holidays just bringing up the swimming thing. And like then it becomes this whole heated conversation. But I don't know if I felt pressure. I think they have always known my swimming so well because my mom literally taught me how to swim, and then my dad has seen me up at my peak. So they obviously know my swimming to a T. And so a lot of the times, like what they're saying is better than they know my swimming better than I do sometimes. And so it's a super tricky relationship to navigate. I think as I've gotten older, I've appreciated it a lot more. I think as growing up as kids, like we never wanted to talk about it. And then I don't know. I don't think I ever felt pressure to swim. They have always let us choose. We just all happened to choose swimming because we loved it and we were good at it.
Yeah, it's the family tradition.
Yeah. But it's not like, I have to swim because...
Yeah, there was no obligation. They didn't force you into it. If you want to play football,
right.
I'm sure they would.
And like there is a little piece of it where I felt guilty if I didn't go to practice. Yes, because my mom was obviously going to the pool. So like if I didn't want to go, I have a ride. She's going anyways to coach. My sister was always the one that was like, I don't want to go, and she didn't go. I would always be like, I don't want to go, and then I would feel guilty, and then I would.
Seemed like it still worked out for her though, even though she skipped a few practices here and there.
Yeah,
competing in NCAA next week. So you were in the 2024 Olympics in Paris. Who was the most famous athlete you met there?
Oh my gosh, we weren't like meeting people. I mean, like, you see everyone. Some teams weren't allowed to stay in the village because of security reasons. Like Team USA's basketball team was like on a yacht somewhere.
Yeah, you probably can't have LeBron walking around all
right, because he would not be able to like make a step without everyone running to him.
Yeah.
I saw Simone Biles in the Village.
That's
a lot of the
pretty popular.
gymnasts, Team Brazil, her name's Rebecca. I saw her a
Mm-hmm.
bunch. She won a gold medal as well. I would say the gymnasts, I mean, the swimmers, obviously, Katie Ledecky,
Mm-hmm.
the French guy, Leon Marchand, saw him all the time because I swam in the same heat as him.
Mm-hmm.
And he went away with 4 gold medals. So I would say them. I wasn't like necessarily out and about trying to like find people.
Yeah, but I'm sure you still bumped in.
But yeah, you
I'm
like
not
see
saying
people
you're trying to
and you're like,
fanboy
"Oh,
at the Olympics. You're like, wait a minute.
You're like
so
in line. You're in line for food, and you're like, wait, that's like, I don't know, Sha'Carri Richardson or like whatever. So I was never like, hi, nice to meet you, because we're all just like trying to play it cool and like we're all at the like
can't
that's the
fanboy
vibe. No.
So who's the rowdiest country? Because I've heard the Olympic Village gets a little rowdy from time to time. Is there a certain country that was a little more like to party a little more than the others?
Oh man, I would say
they're probably not going to hear this, so you can name names.
I don't even know. I didn't have to walk through a ton of like buildings to get to mine because ours was pretty close to the bus, so that was really nice. I mean, Team USA has the biggest building by far. I would say either them or like Australia. They're crazy, but like in a good way.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's in a negative light, but I mean, people like to have a good time.
Like in swimming, like the whole thing now is Team USA, when they have a swimmer going behind the blocks or getting ready or whatever, they ring cowbells. And
yeah, I've heard those.
Like behind the team area where all the countries are sitting. And then Australians complain like, oh, there's so much cowbell. Team USA is so annoying. But then it's like now Team USA is like more cowbell.
Do they ring the cowbells at Mississippi State for swimming? I know it's a football.
State?
Yeah, that's a football thing. They ring the cowbells at the football stadium.
No, I've never heard it.
Annoying. It's annoyingly loud.
So yeah, if you're like in the back, like within your team area, you'll know when a Team USA person's about to go because everyone's cheering and there's cowbells. Yeah.
Was there a country besides your own, and we'll get into who you swam for shortly. Was there a country you got along with the most? You're like, these dudes are awesome. Like, they're so much fun to be around.
I honestly love the Israelis. We were next to them.
Don't you know a bunch of them though?
Yeah, I knew a couple of them, but like we shared, like we were right next to them, and if we needed some extra space, like I wouldn't mind asking to like, hey, can I stretch here or like roll out here? They were super friendly. So I would probably say them. I mean, I have tons of friends on Team USA, so that was pretty easy to like find my friends. Hey, good job, or like, wow, congrats on your gold medal last night. Like, you know, things like that.
What was your favorite event? Even if you maybe not your best event, but what's your most favorite event to do?
To swim. I mean, I'm not very good at it, but I love a 50 free. Like a splash and dash, you're done in like 20 whatever seconds.
Is that what it's called? Splash and dash.
Splash and dash.
Is that an industry term?
So like I would love to be able to have that as my best event because
it's easy. Not easy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like short and sweet, and like also your training leading up to it. You're not doing a ton of like aerobic stuff. Like if you're a 2 flyer or like a 4 IM-er or distance guy, like your yardage at practice is way shorter, but it's like more intentional. So it's harder like from a mental standpoint, I think, because you only have a certain number of reps that you need to hit, but you need to hit every single one every single time. Where like you're not just doing like 30 100s holding a certain time. Like
What did you end up? What was your events in the Olympics?
I swam the 200 butterfly individually, and then Team Brazil, we had a relay, a mixed medley. So I swam the 100 butterfly on that.
Okay. How did you do in that?
My 2 fly, I mean, I think I blacked out, but it was not my best race. I was really hoping to make the semifinal, but I just missed making it back. So I try not to like linger too much on that because I don't want it to like spoil the whole experience, because sometimes it does when I think about it and I'm like, well, whatever. But
I think I can speak for every Olympian who says I'm not just happy to be there. It doesn't feel like one of those things like, oh, I'm here, check the box, I'm done. Like, no, like, you went there to win. Like, you went there to compete.
Right. I wanted to do well.
World. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I wanted to put up a performance that I could be like super proud of. But also I know what that's like, because beforehand you say to yourself, like, if I just make the team, I'll be so happy for the rest of my life. Or if I just make the team, I don't even care how I do. I'll be an Olympian.
That's part
But
of being a
then,
competitor. You want the next step. I want to make the team. Yes. Okay. Well, now I'm on the team. What's
no,
the
you
next
can
step?
just
Now I
like
got to win.
never be satisfied. And I felt that like the whole year leading up to the Olympic trials like was so stressful. And like I did my best to enjoy the process, but I just kept saying like, oh, if I can just do this, like I'll be happy, everything will be good. But
Yeah.
then you make it, and now all of a sudden, oh, if I just do well, I'll be happy.
Well,
There's always like a
ever,
next.
yeah, if you settled in your sport, we're just gonna use swimming because that's yours. If you ever or just any sport in general, if you're content with settling, like you're not going to be elite. You're not going to be the top of the top because that's not how it works. You don't just fall up to be one of the greatest swimmers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen.
So yeah,
What was the hard? You mentioned earlier the training was so hard. What was so hard about it? Was it like the early mornings? Was it what made it so difficult?
I mean, for me, this has been swimming. People don't really understand swimming unless they've done it. Like it is it's a lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
because even in high school, I'm waking up before school at like 4 a.m. to get in at 5, swim an hour and a half or 2 hours, go to school, then go back to the swim, then have dry land or whatever. Like even now without school, it's like, okay, well, I need to have morning practice, then I have a lift, then I need to nap, or I need to eat first, then I need to nap because I have another training, super hard training in the afternoon that's going to be 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can't do this on the weekends. I can't hang out with my friends. I can't go to the movies. It's like it's a sacrifice that you're making every single day. So that part leading up to the Olympics was not the problem. It was like knowing that the Olympic year was here. And like I was in Brazil at the time, so I was really trying to just like enjoy another country, my friends, swimming outside, those types of things, rather than like putting the weight of the world on my shoulders to like make this team. So I would just say like it wasn't necessarily harder from like a physical standpoint because that's all I've done. It was just more emotional leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell that with like me and my teammates because I have teammates who also wanted to make the team, and I had a couple that did from my club team. So we all, I don't know, it's like we're almost like trauma bonded from it.
So you said you decided to swim for Team Brazil.
Yes.
What was kind of the thought process behind that?
Yeah. So I represented Team USA as a junior before I even went to high school. I swam at Junior Worlds hosted by the US. So I was swimming in Indianapolis, and the year before was in like Fiji, and the year after was in Budapest, and I just got Indianapolis. Yeah. But it was great. We got to defend our country.
Home turf.
Home turf, yeah. And then I was on the US national team for 3 years during my during my college career. And then in 2021, I competed at Team USA's Olympic trials. I was 4th there. Just barely missed the team. At that point, I had my 5th year left. And after I finished my 5th year with the college team, I was like, I think that's it for me. Like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, sure, I want to make the Olympics one day, but like, I don't think this is for me. Like, I've had enough of it my whole life. And I've also trained at the same pool my entire life. I swam the Ralph Wright Natatorium on Louisville's campus since it was built in 2003. And I've been there since 2004.
22 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I had never left Louisville. I grew up here. I swam here in college. And people kept saying, oh, like, you just need to change an environment, like, to get you to fall back in love with the sport because, like, you have a goal and you don't want to give it up fully yet. So I ended up taking the summer off and I swam here as a professional. So unhappy. So unhappy. There's no money. You can get sponsorships, but, like, most of the people who are here in the US, they have a job. They work a 9 to 5.
Do you mind sharing some of that? Like what does a professional swimmer, how does that look?
Yeah, so if you're on the national team, you can get a stipend, couple thousand a month, sure. And then they also like reimburse you for stuff, for traveling if you go to a meet. And then if you have sponsorship, so I had a suit deal with TYR tier during my 5th year because of NIL stuff. And then I signed a contract with them for my first year as a professional, but it's not like livable.
Yeah,
like, you can't
enough
do
to keep
that,
your head above water,
right?
but
Unless
not
you're like
sustain a living.
Unless you're like the top 1% or top 1% of the 1%, like Katie Ledecky can live off this. And, you know, with all the medals and the suit deals and the world records and all that stuff. So if you're a professional swimmer and you don't have world records or medals, you have to have a job. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a real estate agent because I'm going to do real estate and swim at the same time. So that whole first year as a professional here, I was doing the pre-licensing. I was studying for the exams, all that stuff. I finished my first year as a pro and we're still 2 years out from the Olympics, or maybe one year out. And I'm like, I still don't think I can do this for a year. Like, I really don't. And then that's when a Brazilian club team, which the club team that my dad swam for before coming to the U.S.
Yeah, your dad's from Brazil.
Yes. My dad's from Brazil, born and raised. My whole entire family on my dad's side lives in Brazil. They live in São Paulo. So I grew up going there on Christmases or like for weddings, like, and I loved Brazil. Every time I got on the flight home, I was sobbing to my parents, like, I don't want to leave. I want to like, this is my home. I would literally say like, this is my home. I feel so at home here. So I had an opportunity. The club team reached out, wanted me to basically move there. They were going to pay me to live in Brazil. And at that point, it was like a last resort saving grace to like get me to swim another year, to try to like have this goal. I didn't move to Brazil thinking that I was going to swim for Brazil. There were so many paperworks that I needed to do because I had already represented Team USA. Yeah. And it's not just like, oh, no, I want to represent this country.
The transfer portal for the world.
Pretty much. And that takes at least a year.
Yeah.
So I moved to Brazil not even knowing if I was going to be able to swim for Team Brazil.
What do you have to do to do that transfer? Do you just have to prove that there's family lineage there?
That part, I've been a Brazilian citizen my whole life, so we actually got to skip a few steps.
That's probably a good thing.
I've had dual citizenship my whole life. Me and my siblings all do. So, but it's like timing, and USA Swimming has to confirm it. Brazilian Federation has to confirm it. World Aquatics has to, like, it goes through so many hands before you actually get the good to go. So I moved there not
hoping and praying that it'll work.
But at that time, I also was just going as like, okay, I can go there, get paid, train there, but that's fine. I'll come back to the US and try to like swim for USA at their Olympic trials.
Yeah.
So I at that point I was like, it's like a training camp, but I'm getting paid, swimming outside, and I knew a bunch of people there.
Did you stay with family or did you have like a sponsor?
No, so I lived in a different city, Belo Horizonte. All my family lives in São Paulo. We're like an hour flight. So basically every time I flew home, I had a layover in São Paulo. So I was either going over to their house and like spending the night there to like in between flights. Yeah. Or I was meeting them for lunch. Like I saw them so many times.
That's awesome.
And usually we maybe see them once a year for Christmas, maybe. During COVID, we didn't see them for like 2 or 3 years. So it was super special. And like, even after I made the team, we had like this huge party in São Paulo and all my family and cousins and everyone came, and that was super, super special. But back to the question, which was why did I want to swim for Team Brazil? Yep. I needed to make a change in my swimming daily life in order for me to get even to that point. So Brazil was like almost handed to me like, hey, we have this opportunity for you. The club coach, Sergio, really wanted to work with me. Sergio swam with my dad before my dad moved.
That's cool.
So it was like a whole full circle moment. And I was like, this is too good to be true. Like, I can't not say no.
You'll regret it for the rest of your life.
Yes. And so it just so happened that me moving there started the paperwork. At that point, I was like, well, if it works, if not, great. If not, I'll try to make the US team. Like, that's fine too. Ended up getting through the paperwork like right before the Olympic trials, and then
the rest is history.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
That's awesome. So knock out a couple things and then we got to get rolling. Do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions?
I don't like to get wet before I dive into swim the race. So like a lot of people you'll see like bend down in front of their
raw dogging it
and like
dry.
I like to be dry, yes. So a lot of people will like get down in front of the block or next to the block and like splash themselves with water or like take a water bottle and pour it. I have to be dry. That's like my thing. And I was thinking about that in the car because I was like, what do other do? I used to pick out specific underwear patterns to wear on my race days. So like now I don't have that, but like when I was in high school and then when I got to college, I was like wearing my favorite underwear on the my favorite race day. So
Yeah.
on the 200 fly day, I would wear like these hot dog ones, and like the day before, I had like ones with like 4-leaf clovers on them. Like, I don't know why I did that. Just like in the morning when you pick out your underwear, you're like, oh, it's
Hey,
gonna be a good
Deion
day.
Sanders said it best:
Yeah.
look good, play
Exactly,
good.
and it helped, I guess, a lot.
Nobody cares what your underwear is when you're swimming.
Exactly.
That's funny. Yeah, I played baseball in college. And I was trying to think of this when I put the questions, like, what did I do that was kind of superstitious? And I had two things. One, super unhealthy, but I would drink 2 energy drinks before I was a pitcher. So I would get to the clubhouse super early before everybody else and
Chugging.
chug a. This was back before I drank Monster Zeros all the time now, but this was back when all they had was like the black and the black can green label, like just the motor oil monster.
The radioactive.
Yes, that one. That was the only thing they had. So I grabbed 2 of those from the Speedway down the street from the field. Get to the clubhouse super early, chug a monster, play Sega, because I mean this is 2007, 2008. And we had like a cheap, NBA Jam. Like we had all the old school games on Sega. So I just play that.
That's so funny.
Mess around with ping pong to piggyback off your ick with the ping pong stuff. I'm sure I did that.
They want to see you running around chasing any balls.
So maybe mess around with the ping pong a little bit, but just got there super early. And then while I warmed up on the field, I would drink the second monster. And then the other one that I had was I had to be the one. So every time you get a brand new ball, it's in a wrapper. It's not just, it doesn't just come in a box. Like it's in a box, but it's in a wrapper. I had to be the one to open the wrapper. If anyone ever gave me the ball unwrapped, I'd go all the way back to the clubhouse, grab a new one, and walk back out to the bullpen. I had to be the one that opened it. I don't know why. I just
because it's brand new.
I was the first one to touch the leather of the ball. Like I wanted to be the one to scuff up the ball because you don't just rip it and throw. Like you got to rub some dirt in it, and kind of spit and all. Not to get too graphic, but it's some spit and some dirt, and you got to kind of scuff it up a little bit to give it some traction.
Okay,
but yeah, those were mine.
Interesting. Yeah.
Those were mine. What advice would you give any new swimmers, young swimmers that want to compete at the level that you made it to?
Yeah. Honestly, it's so cliche, but like it's more about the journey than it is the destination, because you can tell yourself all these things like, oh, once I go this time, or once I make the state meet, or once I win this race, like I'll be happy. No, like you're always going to find something else that's going to get in the way of your happiness. So honestly, my advice is just enjoy the daily grind with your best friends. Like to me, swimming, it's like a hangout session with your best friends, like, and you're pushing each other. Like you feel so accomplished when you're done with that.
Well, I've said this before, I think probably on this podcast. I may have been talking with Zach. Zach Smith he's an agent at Homepage. He played D1 football out in Missouri. And when I get back together with my teammates, when we hang out, things like that, we don't talk, and I'm sure that Youth Supplies, we don't talk about the games.
Yes.
We don't talk about what happened in the game. We may mention it every now and again because, I mean, you just do. But, like, we talk about everything that happened off the field. That's where I think the real brotherhood and the real camaraderie is with your teammates, and that's what I still to this day. Like, I still think of certain specific incidents that occurred and things that happened.
Yes.
Because it's a memory that I'll cherish forever. But yeah, when I'm talking to my buddies, like we're talking about what we did in the 6th inning on Saturday, and
you don't remember like points or like maybe your best times, sure, but like you don't remember every time that you went in a dual meet. Like you just remember like, oh, that dual meet against Notre Dame was so fun when we picked up the chairs and like cheering for the miles. Like it's those, and even like a lot of my classmates have moved out of Louisville. But when we do come back together, it's like we talk about, sure, the hardest sets that we've done or how we've just bonded over, some of the crazy stuff that we have to do. But yeah, I would just say enjoy the journey and sure make goals, try to accomplish them to your best ability. But you remember those relationships and just the process rather than the result and the final, whatever your goal is or destination.
Yeah. So what's next in your swimming career? Did we swim this morning?
I did, yeah.
Did you?
So
down at U of L?
Yeah. So I am still training here. I signed one more year contract with my club team in Brazil. So I'll go back to Brazil 2 times this year to compete with them. I felt like, so I have the Olympics in July or August. And then I had world championships in December. And I did well in worlds. I was top 8 in the world, which is amazing,
That's
cool.
pretty impressive.
But I still like felt, I don't know, after the Olympics, like I was just in a slump. Like it's called the post-Olympic depression. Like, and I've heard about it before, but once you're in it, like you go through some emotion. And so I felt at that point, I was like, I'm done. So I retired actually in January, and I took like 4 weeks off, and I was like, okay, I'm starting my real estate career. So, and that's why I'm here today.
Yeah.
But then after a bunch of conversations with my coaches and my club team back in Brazil, like I felt like I deserved to end my career on a high note, not even just about like performing at the Olympics. Like, yes, that's so cool. But like emotionally wise and like happiness wise, like I want to leave swimming being grateful and like happy about it and like being okay with it. And I felt like if I just ended it in worlds or in the Olympics, like it would have just been, I would have regretted it and also been bitter towards swimming. And I just felt like I wanted to, like kind of like what you were saying earlier, like I want to end it on my own terms with my friends, swimming like some fun events, like swimming breaststroke. I never swim breaststroke. I would love to swim breaststroke at my last meet, like just for fun.
Yeah.
And like finish the wall in my last race and be like, woohoo. So the plan is now is to swim this year, and then I will reassess after.
You can always come back to being a realtor.
Yes, people say that too. Like you can work the rest of your life. You only have a certain time to be a swimmer. So and the first question people ask me is like, oh, are you going for 2028? And I'm like, 2028 so far.
That's very far away.
So far. So, and like I said earlier,
You brought it up. Is 2028 an option?
I don't know.
Is it an option?
I can't give you an answer. I don't know.
That's not a no.
But it's not. Oh, sorry.
It's not a yes, but it's
not a yes,
no.
but it's not a no.
That's
I'm
all
just
we
gonna
need.
see where life takes me, honestly. And like I said, it's a sacrifices lifestyle, and like obviously want to be able to give my 100% to real estate and to my other jobs that I have, instead of like, you know, kind of being 1 foot in, 1 foot out in every job that I do.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I know for sure that I will swim at least until the end of the year, and then we'll reassess.
Perfect. All right. Last thing, we're getting out of here. I'm excited to share my partnership with Senior Family Solutions and their Easy Equity Loan Program, a game changer for sellers looking to maximize their home values. This loan allows sellers to tap into their home's equity with no upfront costs, covering everything from contractor coordination to invoices, all paid at closing. Whether you're downsizing, upgrading, or simply preparing your house for top dollar, this program makes renovations seamless and stress-free. If you're interested in taking advantage of this opportunity, contact me directly or visit seniorfamilysolutions.com to get started. With that said, the Senior Family Solutions and their Easy Equity Loan Program question is,
Let's hear it.
Your top 5 musical artists or groups.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Who's on the Mount Rushmore plus 1?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention my favorite of all time, Miss Ariana Grande.
Okay.
She has a very special place in my heart. I love her. I love SZA.
Okay.
I'm like I like pop music.
That's
it's
fine.
Just so basic.
No
But,
judgment here.
I'm trying to think on who was on my Spotify Wrapped last year. Oh, Tate McRae. She's having a good year so far. I know that there's some boys in there. The Weeknd. I love The Weeknd.
Okay. I can get behind The Weeknd.
Yes, I love The Weeknd. And who else? Maybe I was gonna say an artist, but that's not even true. I was gonna say Morgan Wallen, but I don't even like him that much. I don't know why I was gonna say. Maybe like Post Malone. I don't know. You said groups, right?
Yeah, you can do a group. They don't have to be current. Like, it can be an old one.
No, I'm gonna say Posty.
All right, Post Malone. All right,
yeah.
That's awesome. All right, your job is to now give me the question for the next guest.
Oh,
You don't know who they are.
oh, I don't. Okay.
Honestly, I don't even know who it is because I haven't looked. I know who it is, but I don't know off the top of my head who it is. I have it written down somewhere.
Is water wet? That's like probably the most controversial question that exists, and like especially in the swimming community.
Yeah.
Is it water wet?
Give me the answer then.
Well, I don't know. I want to know what this person's going to say.
Well, what are you gonna say?
Well, I think
This will go out before I ask that. They will answer this question before this goes out because we're on like a 4 to 5 week.
I think that
you brought it up. Can't put the genie.
I
back
think
in the
water
bottle
is
now.
dry.
Water is dry.
Like if you like the molecule is
real
dry.
sciencey here.
But if you put like another water on it, then maybe it's wet. So like one singular H2O
Yep.
is dry, but the second you add another one, it's wet.
1 dry, 2 wet.
2 plus wet,
2 plus.
I think. But that comment down below wherever
Yeah,
you're watching this. Comment down below
Is water wet?
in the comments, please, or DM me. I want to know your thoughts.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you
man.
so
Do you have
much.
anything you want to plug? If somebody's watching this and they don't think
Ooh.
I'm a good fit to be a realtor, or they want to work with you instead,
No, work with Jake. Jacob or Jake?
Jake, it doesn't matter.
I have an Instagram account for my real estate
Yes.
business. It's called Nick Sells Lou, at Nick Sells Lou. You can also follow me at my personal Nick Albiero on Instagram and TikTok, I guess. So those are like my 2 go-tos.
Perfect. Anything else you want to plug?
Safe Splash Swim Labs for
Yes.
all your kids' needs, or if you have a club swimmer or you're a triathlete, or if you just want to, if you know the basics and you want to work on your technique, hit me up for that as well. And go Cards.
I'll agree with everything until the festival. Sorry. Sorry.
This is the worst podcast ever. Don't ever come here if he asks.
Only Kentucky fans on this podcast. But sincerely, Nick, thank you.
Yeah,
It's
thank
been
you
awesome,
so
dude.
much.
I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you. Thank you.